Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a close look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 14, Clues.
Early completion of our mission at Harakis 5 has allowed me to grant extra personal time for many of the crew, since our recent tight scheduling has prevented the pursuit of the leisure activities that are a normal part of life aboard the Enterprise.
That was the first time we got to see Worf's Makbara class, which is like Klingon Tai Chi. Bev's growing mold spores or something, and Guinan is on the holodeck to visit Picard as Dixon Hill. That's Rhonda Aldrich, and this is the third and final time we'll see her as his secretary, Madeline. She says Dix is busy, but Guinan says, well, I have an appointment. Tell him it's Gloria from Cleveland. Madeline says her boss is incommunicado, so Guinan just walks right in.
Who's the doll?
She's, the doll's my cousin.
Yeah, Gloria from Cleveland.
I'm sorry about this. I didn't actually mean you to get involved.
So that guy is Johnny, and he says Dixon stole his money, but then Johnny gets shot, and Picard's like, oh, we have a mystery. And Guinan asks, is this what you do for fun? And he's like, oh yeah, now we have to go look for clues. But Data calls up on his office phone and says, hey, Captain, there's a Class M planet ahead, and we haven't checked it out yet. So Picard says, okay, I'll be up in a minute. Guinan, you can stay here if you want, but she says, nah, this isn't my kind of thing.
Entering the T-Tory system now, Captain.
Sensors indicate an energy fluctuation directly in our path.
Seems to be gone. Wormhole.
Very likely.
Riker's like, we should probably avoid that, but too late, there it is. And oh no, everyone fell over except Data. Oh look, everybody's okay. Data says the wormhole stunned everybody. Okay, that's new. And they were out for about 30 seconds. Riker says they're about a half a parsec from where they started, and that's pretty far. Like a day away.
Captain, this is Crusher in sickbay.
Go ahead, Doctor.
I'm getting scattered reports of minor injuries. What's happened?
The Enterprise just jumped through a wormhole. Apparently we were all unconscious for about 30 seconds.
Geordi chimes in and says the engines are fine, and Worf says all the weapons and shields are fine, too. So everything's fine, except Troy has a headache, and that is never good. Picard says, oh yeah, what about that planet we were going to check out? And Data says, yeah, I wouldn't do that. The wormhole might get us again. We should send a probe. Make it so. Oh, there's our stock probe footage. O'Brien's in sickbay again, but he didn't hurt himself kayaking this time. Nope, he was hanging a plant for Keiko.
This is impossible.
Okay. Hey, there's Nurse Ogawa, and we find out here that her first name is Alyssa. Bev asks if anybody's been messing with her spore things, and she says, nope. Worf says the probe is approaching the planet, but they're a day away, remember? So how'd that work? Anyway, there it is, and it's green.
Sensors indicate a hydrogen-helium composition with a frozen helium core.
Wait a minute. Didn't your readings indicate a Class M planet?
It is possible that the sensors were affected by interference from the wormhole commander.
Okay, so whatever. Time to get back on course. Bev stops by to see the captain, and she says, hey, look at this. Okay, that stuff is some kind of moss that I guess she grows for fun. Anyway, remember, she just started those things at the beginning of the show, so they have experienced a full day's growth at this point, so it looks like some time is missing.
Doctor, we were not unconscious for a whole day. Everything on board indicates that we were out for 30 seconds. The ship's chronometer, the computer. Everything, Doctor, including Commander Data.
She says, well, I'm not wrong. These things are over 24 hours old. We have a mystery on our hands.
Commander Data continues to maintain that we were unconscious for only 30 seconds, despite Dr. Crusher's evidence to the contrary.
Data tries to explain what's going on by referencing some physicists and says with great time distortion there would be counter effects or something. And Geordi's like, Data, that guy was talking about energy. And Data's like, I know, but it might be possible to affect matter too. Okay, so Picard tells Data to go work on the sensors down on Deck 36.
You believe him? I want a frank answer, Commander.
Not for a second. I'm amazed he even proposed it.
What are you suggesting, Captain?
I'm not sure, Mr. Worf.
Well, they know something happened, and maybe Data just doesn't want to tell them, or maybe he's messed up too, or he could be telling the truth. So Bev and Geordi are going to look for clues, and in the meantime, they will stay on course. That lady is Ensign Lachlan, and she's the last person to use a transporter before the wormhole. Something in her cell membranes or something is off. Anyway, the doc tells the captain that according to the transporter trace, they were unconscious for a lot longer than 30 seconds.
I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we were right about the computer's chronometer. There's a security program to prevent tampering, but it looks now like it was disabled and a new program put in its place. Someone has reset the clock.
The bad news is the only people on board that know how to do that are Geordi and Data. So Picard confronts Data about this and asks if it's possible that he's being influenced by something else, and Data's like, well, how would I know that? And agrees to be examined by Geordi.
It has become clear that everyone aboard the Enterprise has lost an entire day. As the mystery of what actually occurred during those missing hours continues to deepen, so do my doubts about Commander Data.
Geordi can't find anything wrong and says, hey, Data, I'm your friend. You can tell me if something's wrong. And Data says, well, there's nothing I can tell you that I have not already stated. Picard says, you know, all this started when we detected that planet. We need to go find some clues. And then Troy gets hit with a dizzy spell, which happens to me all the time. She goes to lie down, and Worf is going to help her get to her quarters.
Security, override the lock on Counselor Troy's quarters.
I came in here. I looked into the mirror. It wasn't me. It was my face, but it wasn't me inside.
What does that mean? I have no idea. The doc says she's fine, and Troy says she feels like her face is a mask or whatever. I don't know. Now, Worf is in sickbay, and his wrists hurt, but we have to come back to that because this show jumps around a lot. Picard asks Data if he recognizes that planet, and Data says, yeah, that's the planet from the probe, and Geordi is like, no way, that's Tethys 3. You copied it from Wikipedia or something. Data isn't confirming or denying anything.
Data, you are the key to this entire mystery, and you have done nothing but block my every attempt to solve it. Why are you fighting me?
Which would you place first? The welfare of a single individual, or that of the entire crew?
Okay, so Picard gives Data a direct order to tell him what happened, and Data says, I cannot answer that question. Picard's like, oh, what do you expect me to do?
I am apparently guilty of falsifying the Enterprise's records, of disobeying a direct order from my commanding officer. Your duty seems clear, sir.
Picard says a court-martial will end your career, and Starfleet will want to strip you down to your wires to figure out what went wrong, and Data says, yes, I realize that. So this is big. All right, there's Worf. Bev says his wrist has been broken and reset recently, but he has no memory of that. Bev's pretty sure everyone was conscious during the missing day.
There are very few individuals on board who could have broken my wrist. Commander Data is one of those individuals.
But I'm beginning to suspect that Commander Data is refusing to cooperate because he believes that he is acting in the best interests of the Enterprise.
Geordi sent another probe to the planet, and there it is, not green this time, and definitely M-class. The probe isn't detecting the wormhole, and Picard says that's because there is no wormhole. This is all a ruse. The clues show us that we were awake during the missing day, and we may have been in a struggle for our lives.
The fact that we're still alive suggests we might have won.
Not necessarily, Doctor. Data's behavior would seem to suggest that we did not.
If we didn't win, and we didn't lose,
then the only alternative would be a stalemate.
Okay, so they're going back to the planet to get some answers, which is a bad idea. Here we are already, and Worf's ready to fight, and uh-oh, there's a green space cloud, and it shoots something at the ship. Did you ever notice when this happens, the thing almost always goes to visit Troy in bed? Uh-oh, again, Troy is possessed, and the entity was nice enough to get her dressed before going to see Data.
The plan has failed. Your ship is again in our space.
Do nothing. It may yet be possible to salvage the situation.
Data says, Captain, we need to get the heck out of here. Of course, Picard asks why, and Data cannot tell him. Finally, Picard kind of figures that Data is acting this way because he was ordered to, but Data cannot confirm that either, and he's like, come on, man, we gotta go.
This ship isn't going anywhere. Not until I get an answer. Now, who gave you that order?
You did, sir.
Aha! Well, this isn't good. The green space cloud is trying to take over the Enterprise, and Data says it's only a matter of time. These Paxan guys are pretty good. Who were they? Well, that's who's in possessed Troy. And she says, oh, you people know about us now, so we have to kill you. The wormhole thing is like a catch-and-release trap, but it didn't work, so why?
My positronic brain is a technology unknown to the Paxans.
Our stun field had no effect on him. He remained conscious while we tried to take over the ship.
I initiated emergency procedures.
So flashback to the wormhole incident. Data sets the shields on auto-rotate and wakes up the crew with some magic gas and the life support system. They can't shoot and they can't go to warp, and the Paxans have just beaten the shields. Troy gets possessed and breaks Worf's wrist. Poor Worf. She tells Picard, hey, you know about us. We tried to play nice, but the trap didn't work, so you're going to have to die. Picard says, well, that won't work, because if you destroy us, Starfleet will send a whole lot more ships. What to do? The deal is the Paxans will wipe everybody's memory again, they'll rig the clocks all over the ship, and...
I am ordering you never to reveal what has happened here today. You will conceal your knowledge of the Paxans for as long as you exist. Do you fully understand, Data?
Completely, sir.
Good enough? Yeah, so they get to it. Okay, back to the future, or the present, and possessed Troy says, yeah, that plan failed, you need to be destroyed. Picard says, no way, you just left us too many clues. If you can get rid of those and try again, this will work. She says, humans sure are weird, but okay, and the green space ghost leaves her body. Oh look, everybody's unconscious again, and this just plays out like it did the last time. Except this time when Picard brings up the planet, Data recommends they launch a probe and get back on course, which is exactly what he said the first time, so why is it different this time?
Make it so, and put out a hazard advisory to Starfleet. Ensign, set a course for Evadne 4.
Aye, sir.
Engage.
That was a money-saving bottle show, but I liked it. Usually if the story is about Data, I'm in, except Data's Day. That was kind of weird. I pretty much mentioned everything I had notes for, except Picard calls the Paxans by name when he gives Data the order the first time, before he would have been aware of their name. But this happens during the flashbacks and forwards, and I really doubt anyone noticed, and it's not like a big deal. I did mention at the end there that the same thing happened exactly twice in a row. They launched the probe twice. The first time they went back. The second time they just decided to ignore the probe, I guess. I don't know, but it worked, so whatever. I think this episode is fun. Michael Piller really liked it. I mean, it's not spectacular or anything, but I've watched it many times. I'm going to go 3 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you like that video, thank you. Maybe subscribe and make a comment if you want to. There's more Star Trek videos and related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.